Okay.
Hello, everybody. My name is Suzanne McAllister, and I'm with the PAW Project, Post Animal Use World Project. And I am here with my cousin, Anthony Donovan, who is walking in a beautiful park in northern Manhattan. And the reason I wanted to chat with Anthony is to follow up on an essay that we published in our last newsletter, where Anthony took it upon himself to try to save as many squirrels as he could in an area by the East River in Lower Manhattan that was being cleared of all the trees in order to, I guess, create a walkway or extend the area by the river. But Anthony can tell us about that. He has been hard at work. I've been keeping up with it on Facebook, but I thought it would be easier if Anthony could just give us the highlights of what he did over the last 4 to 6 weeks and where things stand now. So, Anthony, take it away.
Oh, well, God bless you and whoever's listening. I thank you. Listening is the most wonderful gift we can ever give someone. So if you're listening, that is a real gift to me. Uh, yeah. And it was because I listened for a moment to a squirrel that I'm getting this call from my wonderful cousin, Suzanne, who did really help me in this endeavor, because I was really scratching my head about what to do. So it's called the East Coast Resiliency Project. It's going on in a lot of places. They're building seawalls in places that are lower than sea level that get flooded when there's storms. And we know because of our environmental, I'm walking uphill, so I'm a little out of breath. But so they're building a seawall, and they evidently were supposed to have uh, in their huge, 500-page plan section where they tend to wildlife and take care of those things. But obviously, they didn't think of squirrels. So anyway, and I haven't gone to see the East River Park. It's for those who know Manhattan. It's the Lower Manhattan on the East River, where Suzanne and we have a long heritage of tugboats along that river. So I
Mhm.
often go there and I look across where our great grandparents were lived in St. Anthony's Church. I'm named after that church. You can see the spire. So I'm getting off topic, but I love going to this park. But it's been closed for the past 2.5 years. There were about 1,000 old growth trees, not old growth, mature trees, probably 80, 90 years old, that were chopped down to make room for this huge seawall. The community did fight this, but we lost to developers, as often is the case. So it's another case of citizens trying their best to stand up to these huge machines and to real estate and huge. So anyway, I haven't been going to the park because that, frankly, it hurts a lot to go there, to know that these trees that I loved walking under and by for so many years, 35 years actually, I've lived in this current apartment. So it was kind of painful to go there. So I've avoided it. But I went early September to see what was happening, and I saw these trees, one in particular. And I do talk to trees, or I appreciate trees. I know they have a wisdom, an energy, a connectedness that's beyond my understanding, but I feel it and I appreciate it. And I know it's always been very helpful for me. So I am a tree hugger. I mean, I don't go around displaying that often, but I do love putting my hand on a tree and saying thank you. So I was in this park a little over about 6 weeks ago now, and I was touching this tree, and just I knew it was going to be gone in about a week.
Mhm.
This particular whole group of trees, and it was a beauty. And so I was just holding it. I just had my hand on it and just saying thank you, but also asking it for its wisdom. How do you feel about dying? You've got wisdom. You're seeing all your brothers and sisters south of you get chopped down. You know they're moving north. How do you feel about all this? And I had such wisdom, but I was spending some time with this tree. Don't tell our other relatives, okay, Suzanne? No, but so no, you can say anything. But I turned around and there was a squirrel about 2 or 3 yards from me, and it wasn't like scurrying around and seeing if I had a nut or, checking out if I had food. It was just sitting on its haunches, still, and just looking at me. And I said, "Oh, wow, it's hi, hello." And I went back to kind of talking to my tree. But I turned around, he was still there, had not moved, and was just looking at me. And I said, "Wow, and it's not until then that I really thought about the squirrels. And shame on me, but we have busy lives. We've got a lot of things we're thinking about. And frankly, I thought everything was kind of being taken care of. That's what we're led to believe. That's what the propaganda always puts out. You're going to have a beautiful new park. They're going to plant all these new trees. It's going to be great. Um, but I just staring at him and I said, "Wow, so you've lost your You've lost your home probably
Mm.
several times. All the trees down south, and it's, I don't know, about a mile altogether down south of where this tree was." And it just kind of hit me that this being, it looked concerned, worried. It kind of like it was asking me for help, and I was asking it how it's doing, and it just stood there. It was the sweetest communication. And so I did take a picture of the squirrel. I mean, normally if you reach in and pull out something, they'll scare you off. He didn't, just he or she just stayed there. And I took a picture and I decided to take a
And
picture of the trees.
that's the picture we posted, Anthony, with your essay
Ah,
of that squirrel.
beautiful.
Yeah.
So I owe that squirrel a lot. So as your audience is listening, this is what happens in our lives when we take a moment to stop and listen. So I don't take credit for this. This being was focusing on me, talking to me, and it gave me a huge gift. I went home not knowing what to do, and I didn't do much for a couple of days. Well, actually, no, I think I posted something on Facebook. And that's when the community started. So this is, what do we do in life? We don't know. We often don't know. We communicate a problem, a question, and who knows if there's ever an answer. And so I was really blessed to just be getting, some stupid responses, but mostly compassionate, caring people. And I got more likes on this post than I've gotten on all my weapons up there. I usually get three, and here I'm getting 50. It's like, wow, okay. So anyway, and people were giving me ideas what to do, and it's a long process. I called, speak to everyone I knew that was charged, uh, and the authority, so the police have animal abuse uh, section, just scrambling for thoughts. I didn't know about all the wildlife um, organizations that exist. It hasn't been my world. I did know that my cousin Suzanne was involved with wildlife and loved animals and has been this work for a long time. So I can't remember who contacted who first, but I was really asking her, "Do you know anyone?" And she looked up and found this one organization, Freedom Life Freedom Foundation. And I contacted them right away. This wonderful woman, Rosanna, got back to me fairly quickly. She didn't know what to do, but she was going to try. She made some calls. So that started a process. And I don't know how much more you want to go
Well,
on, but
I think, yeah,
yeah,
I mean, first of all, I think what you've said so far is just really moving, both in terms of going and spending time with this tree, and in pausing there,
yeah,
we're starting to settle. And then you look over and you see this squirrel
yeah,
who, when I think about
yeah,
what was going on with that squirrel, like you said, we don't know. But what we do know is that it's unusual for a squirrel to just stand there. Usually they are so active, they're running around,
yeah.
they're
That's
playing.
correct.
Um,
That's correct. I'm
and,
walking
and
through a park. Yeah.
yeah,
And I'm pardon, I don't mean to interrupt, keep that thought, but I passed about a dozen squirrels since I've been on the phone with you. And
yeah,
they are doing exactly that, scurrying back and forth, running right by me. And
yeah.
yeah, so I'm sorry.
Well, I
Mhm.
remember years and years ago, Anthony, I don't know whether you remember this, but we may have been walking in Central Park, and I remember you talking about squirrels and how much you love them. And I think my appreciation of them grew from that conversation. I'm talking about
Oh,
probably 30 years ago. And you
30
talked
years ago.
about what unbelievable athletes they are. And
I was amazed, yes.
whenever I see them now, that is what I think about, what incredible athletes, whether they're leaping from one branch to the next, like 40, 50 feet up on a tree and landing and then scurrying down a branch that's bending, but they don't fall off. I mean, they're pretty amazing.
Yeah,
But what I'd
they
like
are.
to really, what I wanted people to hear was how you went from seeing that squirrel, starting to, well, posting on Facebook, like you said, getting some ideas from folks there, and then getting plugged into some of the people who are involved in wildlife in New York City. But maybe just bring us up to date with where things are now.
Thank you. And thank you for reminding me of Stubby. Stubby was my favorite squirrel back in 1982. So that was
Okay.
a long time ago. And yeah, I was in my 30s. And I would do Tai Chi every morning on Alpha 82nd Street in Central Park. That was my little spot back then. And I love Stubby and his family. And I try to bring him nuts and I do my Tai Chi, and they were great. And they opened my mind a lot. It brought me great joy.
Yeah.
So, uh, so community, that's the word. And and just try something when we don't know, when we feel alone with something. Uh, just try to talk. A lot of people aren't on Facebook and put down Facebook, and it's true, but I am a little bit of a Luddite. I still do Facebook, and that's the tool that I had. And I put up this posting of this scroll that touched my heart. And from there, people come, they arrive. So this is the truth when we travel. We meet strangers who we find out in a few moments are dear friends. And so when I just started this process and asking, and it connected me without me trying, or I had nothing to do with this really. It's Facebook and it's other people felt this connection and felt what I was feeling. So
Mm.
what a great gift. And I just want to thank you for you spread it. And that's a beautiful sensitivity and shows that you care, shows that we're connected and we understand each other on that level. So we do have a community. And so it was just one thing just led to another, and you keep following up leads and you make calls and you try not to get too discouraged because almost all the leads I followed up failed.
Yeah.
All the things that you're supposed to do to get help. The ASPCA, the police had a department about animals, the department of the New York Parks Department, for God's sake. You would think they would help you, but they were like, no, we don't mess around with squirrels. Leave them alone. You're not a professional rehabilitator. Just let them be. And so, yeah,
Well,
went to a
the,
lot of
the
dead
the
ends.
bottom line, just as I'm conscious of the time, is that
Yeah.
as far as I understand, all of the trees are down now. Some
Yes.
of the squirrels were captured and brought.
Yeah. So,
Um, yeah,
yeah,
go ahead.
I'm sorry to interrupt you because time thing, just so you don't have to struggle. Um, there are good people everywhere, and I found that out by trespassing. You're not allowed on these sites, by the way. It's trespassing. I was told many times that, authorities will be called. I'm not allowed to trespass. But as far as I was concerned, these squirrels were hungry. There was no water. There was a river there, but they couldn't get into the river. Huge wall. So I wanted to do something as I was trying to do other things and get groups involved. And yes, so I met a woman that was working. She was a construction worker on the site. I don't want to get her in trouble, so I won't say her name. But what a wonderful young woman who I think someone saw the Facebook page and contacted her. So, I mean, and she said, well, let me try to do something. Later, they tried to taunt her as some kind of professional trapper. She wasn't at all, but she contacted people that knew more than her. And she went and got some traps and she started, and she confided because the bosses and the higher ups in our corporations don't give a damn about squirrels or wildlife. They have a job to do, they have timelines. So this woman quietly got a team helping her out, checking on the traps, moving when they got someone, they move it to a nearby park. Whether that was the best thing to do is up for debate, but I'm glad they got
Yes,
29 of them out.
yes.
So after our intervention, and we started getting some higher ups involved, we got the mayor's office in charge of animal welfare. I got a couple of people that run wildlife centers that I never met before, and we met with the management. Met. I had to go through my councilwoman to get in touch with the management. uh, so that worked out, and they saw our determination and that we had something right to say. It was also devastating because right before the meeting that we were having, management, I think, tried to pull a real fast one and destroyed the little habitat that was left that we were trying to protect while we figured
Oh,
out a plan to capture. So it was really heartbreaking, heartbreaking when I arrived there at this meeting with the mayor's rep. And I was like, what happened? What happened to the habitat? And the management was like, oh, we don't know, whatever. It was horrible. I was very upset and shocked, actually, shocked.
hmm.
Uh, so it hurt a lot. I don't know how many we've lost, but I do know that with the wildlife professionals that we had on hand and the pressure they put on about the rules and regulations that they were not abiding by, and then the threats of press and taking some legal steps, they got on it and they got this woman and her team more traps and they saved another 21. They did not stop their construction at all. And I show on the website, it's there's no life any longer
Yeah.
where the squirrels were. The last trees were down. And so thank you. So we saved some squirrels. We saved a total of, I don't know, 50 or 40, 40, yeah, 50, close to 50 squirrels.
You know
That's,
what,
that's wonderful.
Anthony, I know it isn't, and you were right there and close to it, and it's so painful to see, like you said, you had this one little habitat left and that was taken away. But I just want to, first of all, I am so touched by what you did. I know that the people who will listen to this will be touched by the energy, your heart, and like you said, some of the unexpected connections that you made from first the posting on Facebook, but then it went out from there. There was the ripple effect. And I am so grateful for what you did. And I love your heart. I'll just put it that way. I love your heart. And I thank
I
you.
love yours and your communities. Thank you, Suzanne, for all you do and for that reflection. Takes one to know one, you know. So thank you, and thank you
Well,
for whoever's listening, and keep up the spirits, and we have each other. I
we
keep saying, I
do.
know there's lots of other issues going on in life, but let's keep feeding each other and helping one another.
All right.
Thank you so much for
I
this.
love you, cousin.
I love you. Goodbye.
All right. Bye
Goodbye to
bye.
everyone.